Alright, so here we are, ready for the trimming. We just finger pressed open piece 2 from piece 1. We're going to flip this over, and you can see that this covers section 1. Yay, fabric all the way around that will have after we trim, we'll have 4/4 inch seam areas. And yay, fabric 2 covers section 2. That's key. When you flip it over, when you open them up and you flip it over, if they're not covering, don't cut anything. Stop what you're doing, take the stitching out, and make sure you realign things. I gave you guys plenty of cut space, though. I mean, clearly there's going to be a lot of extras to cut off, so you didn't have to worry about that here. But as you get working with paper piecing more and more, that's something you want to pay attention to. Is my section area covered before you start trimming? Alright, all doom and gloom gone. Here's the fun part. So I've got it turned over. Section 1, Section 2 follows in chronological order. We're going to Section 3 next. How do we get that seam where we need it? Easy, you fold it over. This is the line. See? 2, 3, this line. That's what I'm folding on. Make this line fold over right there on the red line. Red, because right, isn't that what all the TV shows do? Red thread, red line, so everybody can see. See how smart I am? Made it all red for you. I've got that nice fold between Section 2 and Section 3. The moment of truth, folks, the moment of truth. Now, you're going to line this up, and you're going to cut. Give yourself 1/4 inch. Don't cut right on the line, because now you don't have a seam allowance. Okay, did I say that condescendingly and warningly enough? Don't cut on the line, because you won't have a seam allowance, okay? Make sure you cut 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch. I don't have it marked on my ruler. Oh, guess I'm not that smart, because I didn't do the red on the ruler. Well, I'm not a professional. You're stuck with me. So we do 1/4 inch. Keep your ruler steady. Grab your handy dandy little rotary cutter. Slice it on down. Oops. There you go. Alright, so now you open this up, and look, ain't she pretty. You've got just 1/4 inch overlap between 2 and 3. Now what do? Right sides together. Just like you would with piecing, right sides together. Section 3. Right along that line. Now here's another little thing you need to pay attention to. You're probably going to want to do this. Put this down here and line it up edge to corner, corner to corner. Don't do that. It's hard. I had to fight it my first few times. But when you do that, then it folds over, and you've got all these other things here and a gap here. All these other fabrics coming in. So bring it down, let it overhang a little bit. It gets trimmed off, so it's okay. If you have to let it hang over the edge to make yourself feel better, that's fine. It's easier than trying to line it up. Just make sure when you're lining it up, you're giving yourself overlap. And again, I had you cut fabric pieces generously on purpose for this one. I don't want you to have to worry about fitting it in to cover the piece. So go ahead and get that pinned in place. Once you do, edge to edge. Right sides together. I'm going to flip it over again, and that's when I'm going to put it in the machine. Okay?
Oh, it's hard to move.
That's my little videographer in the background. That's Jay. Be careful, please. That's
Okay.
Jay, who's done all the other quilts that you've seen on my little blog. And if you haven't, go look up Jay Quilts, because he likes the attention. He's 12. What can we say? So here we go. Going down the next line. Now, I watched a video when I learned a paper piece on Pons and Porter on PBS. And Pons and Porter, while Joey gets the camera readjusted, it doesn't move very easily, so you can't blame him. While Pons and Porter suggested that you stitch just past the line, about 1 stitch. Did you get it, Joe?
Yes.
just one stitch past the line. I found this problematic because when I went to fold and tear and everything, I always had one stitch hanging over that was in the way. So instead of going one stitch past the line, and you probably can't see it here, but I go right on the line and do the back stitch there. It secures the thread without me having to tug and pull later. And when we get to that part, when you get to that part, I should say, you'll understand what I mean. So again, you just go ahead and finger press that open. It doesn't have to be perfect. I don't use an iron here. I just use finger pressing because if I use an iron, sometimes you're so intent on making a really small, straight, tight seam that you pull the language or pull the fabric and you distort it. So I kind of learned the hard way because I've done it, right? I never read, never pay attention to anybody else. I have to do it the hard way. And I've distorted fabric that way, and lo and behold, been very annoyed with myself. So really just finger press. It's okay if it seems like it bubbles up because it really, really works out in the end. You'll end up pressing the whole block together when everything's said and done. So I'm going to do one more fold and cut for you, and then you're just going to go ahead and work the rest of the block yourself. Between 3 and 4, cut the fabric between, or excuse me, fold the paper between sections 3 and 4.
Stop. I put the on it. I like the on. Alright, off.
Take your ruler and cut 1/4 of an inch from the line, just as we did between sections 1 and 2. See how that little overhang there? We took care of that. There was no big deal. You see that?
Yeah.
Gets cut right off. No big deal.
Let me try I can zoom in. Okay.
So now you can see.
Alright, off.
Now you're ready to go. Just grab your next sections and do them right side together and fold through.